That better?
Coffee with Ori, show it loud, get it loud, turn it up, feel the sound, let's get proud. Step to the rhythm, heart beating wild, sounds on fire, hypnotizing style. Drums drumming deep, trumpet soars high, aggressive moves, we reach for the sky. Go, coffee with Ori, it's a vibe, can't lie. Catchy beat bumping, let's dance. You and I, Bollywood twist in the night, we unite, singing strong, shining through the night.
Moving up like a kite on the breeze. Footsteps echo, feel the rhythm with ease. Let your heart leap, it's a celestial.
Welcome, everybody. This is something different. I'm experimenting as always. I am Dr. D, and it should not. I gotta fix my thingy thing. This is 963B for you today. As you can see, I have several stations. So, and this is Coffee with Ori. So you're not on Dreams to Reality, man. I am tired, and I'm going to say I've had a long week, and my body is finally relaxing. So I'm in a lot better mood. So this is Coffee with Ori. It is Thursday. I want y'all to know we are going to do some meditations. We're going to have a card for the day. Today's subject is betrayal. And I told you, let's discover the secrets of betrayal. That is very important. We're going to learn the key points. And we are going to first introduce Ori. And I believe he has picked out a special card. It's so renaissance to my tattoo. I don't know. Oh, there she is. There she is. There she is.
Well, good evening, everyone. Today's segment is about betrayal. Only because we ask our listeners to let us know what they want us to talk about. And a gentleman popped up last week and spoke about betrayal and how to cope. Now, I always start off by picking a card from my personal deck, my spiritual deck that was made for me. These are not regular tarot cards. These are illusion cards, and these are vision cards that only people who are real mediums can actually see through them. The card that was chosen today is the card of divine female energy. And as you can see, on one hand, here, there's a symbol. It's like a Nordic symbol. And then on this side, she has the Ankh, which is trying to balance out the energy of the world. Although it's a beautiful card, this card depicts rebirth. It depicts death and things that are happening around the world right now. The world is a little heavy, and this week has been a week of trials and tribulation, accidents, and deaths and changes. But through the change, this card deals with transformation. So although it's a very beautiful card, it also deals with what nature has in store for us, which is forever growing, forever changing, and being able to understand that life is not life without death. So just hold on to your seats because this storm is almost over this week. So next week I'll pull out another card to see how things are going. But this one is the card of feminine energy and transformation. And this is what it's about. So whatever you're going through at this moment, whether it be emotionally, financially, physically, just be patient. Be patient with your body, be patient with your pocketbook, be patient with the system because everything has a turnaround. So come Saturday, the energy starts to shift again. Now, I took some notes the other day about betrayal. You know, there are different types of betrayal. There are betrayals in business, there are betrayals in friendships, and there are betrayals that happen among family and loved ones. And although it is a hard pill to swallow sometimes, I think that we as human beings, well, at least for me, when I feel betrayed and I shut down, I struggle not with the fact that I was betrayed, but with the fact that if I'm very loyal to a fault when I first meet you, I give you 110% of myself. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's friendship, godchildren, family, or whatever. I'll give you 100%. But the moment that I feel betrayed, I pull away from you. And if you talk about me, I'm going to talk about you. But I won't say anything about you unless I am able to tell you to your face, which I often do. Now, people may think that I'm cruel in the way that I am, but I've always been this way. Betrayal to me is the lowest form of a person's personality and how they are when you are kind to them. Um, what I find is, and I've always said this: I'm not Jesus. I'm not going to forgive you. I'm not going to forgive the situation. I just won't talk to you. I don't have time to be around people that betray me once, because once you betray me, you will betray me again. So at the end of the day, people have to learn to cope with things in different ways. Now, uh, one of the things that I wrote down, because I write these on my phone so that I can share this with you, okay? One of the things that I was conversating with Spirit about was, it was in my head about betrayal, and I was very much into wanting to talk or help the young person about what they were going through. I understood their pain, and I understood what it was that they were trying to weed out. So this is one of the things that we're going to touch on about betrayal, what I've learned, okay? And this is something that I want to read to you, but it's something that Spirit gave me the information, so I wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget, so I will be able to share with you tonight. So please listen and chime in if you feel that it resonates with you. Okay, some of us live unworthy, should I say, feeling unworthy of love because of past traumas or embarrassments that you may have gone through in the past, whether it be with love, whether it be body shaming, whether it be uh, sexually, emotionally, physically. It really doesn't matter. It's as if um, we compensate by hiding our true emotions and by overgiving of ourselves, by oversharing, overgiving, overstimulating people. Okay. And whether it be personal or not, what we do is we navigate our lives so eloquently and effortlessly that we don't even realize that we are affecting the people around us and ultimately becoming an emotional burden rather than a crutch. As partners, we are meant to be our partner's crutches. and vice versa. But sometimes um, our emotional burdens on them make us makes them realize that we're needy, so therefore they in turn start pushing away from us. But we're so fixated on being happy, and we stay in a situation because we don't want to be alone. We're afraid to be alone. So betrayal is not that difficult, okay? For people to analyze, it does happen. So when you analyze exactly what part you played in the dysfunction, because we all play a part. It's not you. We can't just go around blaming people. If we're with someone and they cheat on us, and you decided to go back, then you need to take ownership of that. You need to take ownership that you chose to go back. So my rule of thumb is once you cheat on me, you're always going to cheat on me. I'm not going to give you a second chance to do it again. So I give you one chance and I walk away. And that is another thing with this conversation is when you get involved with someone, you need to talk about these things from day one. You need to talk about things that you will tolerate and things you won't tolerate. Because sometimes we get so wrapped up in the lovey-dovey stuff that we forget that we're human, and we forget that we're in the middle of something that's bigger than us. And then when it happens, then we feel like we're dysfunctional, that we can't function at all without them. Another thing is, one thing we as humans have to learn, and I say it for both women and men, you can't put everything in one basket. You can't put all your eggs in one basket and say, oh, well, I love you so much that without you, I can't function. And, you're the one that, no, because you put too much burden on the people that you love. By telling them that without them, you can't survive, you're emotionally putting burdens on them that they're not expecting. They're not here, or they're not there to try to be your babysitter or your nana. They're there to love you. And love is unconditional, but love also, even though it's unconditional, it has its conditions. And sometimes the conditions is love, and it's equal. Love each other equally, share equally, but most of all, conversation is the key, which I find that 90% of people that are involved do not communicate well with their partners. And even though they say, oh, well, I sit down with my partner and we speak, they really do not take the time. So we must take ownership to the things. Well, we need to sit back, we need to analyze, and then take ownership of the things that we do, the things that we say, and how we feel, and the pressures that we may be putting on our partners. But also, we need to become an observer and observe everything that's going on so that you're not caught with your pants down. So at the end of the day, only then can you fix this solution. Now, one of my all-time secrets of life, okay, because what I've been challenged with my whole life is that people have always found a way to call me names and say that I'm cruel and that I'm mean and that I'm heartless and I don't have a heart. Well, I don't discuss my childhood. I don't discuss my life. But if I were to discuss it, you will understand why. But the one thing that I have learned in this almost 60 years that I've been alive is that I have never been a person that gives a person more than 3 chances. I don't give 2 chances. I give 1 chance. I don't believe in many chances, and I don't care if it's family or whatever. Now, how I cope is I get rid of things, material things, or emotional things like letters and things like that, that I may keep around. Because what happens is you start to live an existence of an old version of you, and a version of who you were when you loved the person, how much you dedicated to them, how much you loved them, things that remind you of them. You have to start getting rid of them because it's only going to make things worse. And not only will it continue to have clutter in your home, but it will also have clutter in your heart and in your mind. And that's what you have to start getting rid of. Letters and things that are no longer tangible because that person doesn't exist. Get rid of them, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to get over things and get over people. And also understand that by doing so, you are not living in that old version. You're living in a new version of yourself, and you bring yourself back to a different dimension where you will be happier and you will value yourself more, knowing that you were strong enough to pull away from that. Pain is pain. Pain does not go away. Like I said, I think one of the painful things about me when it comes to betrayal, it's not that I love, it's just that I feel that when people betray me and I care about them, friends and family or whatever, the fact that I dedicated so much of my love and I gave them my love and I was vulnerable to them, and I got to get them to go to, I let them in just a little bit, and then they do what they do to me. I think that's the hurting factor. What do you think, Dr. D?
I think that is it is that's the key point. When you make yourself vulnerable and sharing things sometimes that you haven't shared with other people, and
Yeah.
that puts you at a disadvantage a lot because you felt comfortable enough and letting your guard down to share your experiences and what you felt, and then someone turns around, it feels like a slap in the face. So yes, I totally agree with that. But also, like you were saying, when you meet people, we meet people at a certain level in our life where we're at. Sometimes we are so, let me explain. Sometimes we're at such a high state, and this is what I learned. We're such a bright light. Like when you walk in the room, it's like a light bulb went off, and the light might be. You remember back in the day they used to talk about the disco parties or the basement parties. I never got to go to one of those. I always wanted to.
I went to many.
I wanted to always go, but I
Too
never.
many.
My parents was very particular or very strict, so I didn't get to go to the basement parties. So it's like going to the basement party where it's all dark and the lights are out, and then all of a sudden the light from from the I guess the kitchen door or whatever to the basement open, and then there's this light. You know what I mean? Like you're in the light, so all the things are attracted to you, whether they're good, whether they're bad in personality. And it's because they see the light, they want to be a part of it. So they figure, okay, on this level, I like them, but they might not understand why they like you or they admire you and don't know how to say they admire you. And that admiration can become jealousy. It can become the betrayal because they're not sure of their own emotions, not you, their own emotions. We are not responsible for anybody's emotions but our own. That
Amen.
is the
But
key.
I also, but listen, and I don't mean to interrupt you. I also think that the way that we were raised, right? The way we were raised back then, they
Mhm.
people always say, "Oh, well, I met my other half." I never believed that crap. To me, it was like I don't want to be with someone who's my half. I want to be with someone who's a whole, because I know what I bring to the table, and I bring myself to the table, and I'm a whole person. I'm not a half of a person. I'm a whole person. You know, and like I'm a whole asshole. I'm not half of an asshole. I'm a whole asshole. So I come into the relationship with guns blazing, and I keep it as real as I can. But unfortunately, what I find is that people come into relationships with half truths. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you have the other party that have a lot of expectations. Like you have couples now that get involved and they're like, well, how many bodies do you have? Men asking women, how many bodies, meaning how many men have you slept with? First of all, it ain't your goddamn business. And any woman who will tell a man how many men they slept with, they're stupid. Because at the end of the day, no man, I don't care how open he said he is, no man is going to tolerate a woman who's been to bed with more men than three. more than 3 men. They're always going to find that that is a problem. Okay. And you men out there that are really kind men, because there's a lot of good men out there. You know, there's still a lot of good men. You men out there that are really kind and loving and good, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Just because they tell you that they love you, oh, I love you, you're so good to me, you know, I love you because you're kind. No, don't love me because I'm kind. Don't love me because I'm good. Give me something tangible. Show me, okay? Because I don't want to be with you today, and then a month later or 2 months later, you start doing disappearing acts. And I gotta figure out where you're going. That's not my thing, because I don't go through wallets. I don't I don't go through people's phones. I don't believe in that shit, and I don't expect anybody to go through mine. Because the minute you go through mine or ask questions or go through my wallet, you're out of my life. I don't have time for BS. I'm too grown for that bullshit. Now, um, unfortunately, and I'm gonna say this quote unquote, unfortunately, we live in a society where most of the betrayals come from family and is based on hypocrisy. It's based on jealousy. It's based on envy. You may not have more than them. You may be living in a humble place and you may not have more than them, but you may have people that love you and help you. And that is what they become jealous of. So therefore, conversations, because I tell you this for a fact, you know, some of the biggest betrayals that have occurred in my life, and you know some of them, Dr. Z, because you've been around me, have been from people that I thought were my brothers. And not blood brothers, but I loved them and I did a lot for them. And even though Dr. D would say at times, be careful with them, and I would be like, no, they're okay. And they betrayed me. It hurt me to the core. You know what I'm saying? The one thing that I dislike the most is when people know you and then they act new. They act like they don't know you. You know, they'll make stupid comments to bait you to see how far they can get. And then when you walk away from them, they don't understand why.
Or they play the victim.
I think that every healthy human being, which we touched on last week, which is what was about, you know, self-loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Any normal human being, decent human being, will and should look out for themselves first. That's not being selfish. That's just being, you know, it just shows that you appreciate you more, that you love yourself more, and you understand more. Now, you know, there are many slippery slopes, and you know that. To love, there are slippery slopes. To loyalty, what is loyalty? Loyalty is being ride or die. You and I have been friends for more than 30 years. I'm loyal to you, and I know you're loyal to me. I never heard any shit about you talking about me or me talking about you. We've always been on the same playing field. And I always say there are levels and then there are levels. And even though people may seem to be at our level, mentally, psychologically, and emotionally, it doesn't mean that it means that sometimes they're not. And we have to understand that, you know, without judgment. We have to understand it. But just because we handle it without judgment doesn't mean that we have to fuck with them.
That one.
Do you understand? And, you know, I know that sometimes our biggest pains in life are dealing with blood relatives that you trust and you care about them, and you don't know why are they doing this to me or whatever. And it's not a you problem. It's a their problem. They're broken. They're broken. You're not broken. They're broken.
I got a new one for that. I'm glad you brought that up. Sometimes we're born, and I'm going to say this, we're born into the wrong family. The right family for them to maybe up level and get back, which I learned, to their true self and knowing who they are. We're born, but we were supposed to be in another family. It was something somebody said. The apple doesn't fall too far, don't fall too far
From
from
the
the
tree.
right? And then some of us are the people that are outsiders, the black sheep, the wander. We do things, we challenge things, we ask questions, things that everybody else in your immediate family has never done. They don't ask questions. They just go with the flow, or they just follow. They're like sheeples, just follow along, just following the sheep, following, and they don't question anything. And then you get the people that question, like, why? Why am I doing this? What is the purpose of this? And when you start asking those questions, it's like, wait a minute, why am I the only one in my family can see this? Why am I the only one that is having these issues? Why am I the only one? Like everybody else is going along with it. And then sometimes you might think it's you, but it's not you. You're at another level in life. And I learned sometimes, I'm going to say it again, you're not in that family. That is not your, even though you came through that channel, and you might not even came from that channel. You could have been switched at birth. How y'all know about how they've been switching babies?
Yeah, they switch it. But what's really weird is that you touch on this. Like 2 days ago, I had a conversation with my mom. Because my sister's dog died, and I was very lax about it. Like, it's a dog. You know what I'm saying? And I understand it, but my mom was very emotional and stuff like that. And she said, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "You know what? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I don't feel things the way the normal people do. I don't. I don't feel emotions like that. People crying doesn't make me cry. People going through sorrow doesn't make me sorrowful. People dying does not make me sad. I don't have a problem cutting anyone off, anyone, and not looking back. I can sit in the table with my enemies and never, ever talk to them. Look at them in their face, but never talk to them at all, because it's just the way that I am inside. I think that you're right. I think that I take it a step further. I think we're born with a mission, and our mission is to constantly be true, not just to ourselves, but to the universe. And one thing that I know about truth is that people can't handle the truth.
No.
And when you tell them the truth, people are constantly trying to make it seem like you're harassing them, or you bullied them, or you don't know what you're talking about, or you don't make any sense, or you have no feeling, or you're cold, or you're evil. At the end of the day, don't blame me for your shit. Don't blame me for the drama you're going through if you can't work out your own drama in your head. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Let me tell you something. Another thing that I focused on, and I think you're gonna like this. I wrote it down because I like to write things down so that I can share this with people. So I want you guys to listen to them, okay? I want you guys to listen to this because I think that it will apply. A ship's purpose is to lead you somewhere, right? That's what a ship does.
Right.
So a relationship or a friendship or a leadership or a partnership, if you feel that those ships are not leading you anywhere, then it's time to abandon ship.
I like that. Swim.
Exactly.
Jump over.
Exactly. Be like the damn Titanic. Crash the boat and get the fuck out. Because at the end of the day, all of those things end with ship. And a ship is supposed to take you to a destination better than what you are in.
Right.
With none of the companionships, relationships, friendships, if none of that is taking you somewhere higher than you, then you need to get rid of the boat and move on.
Right.
You know this better than I do. Getting over betrayal is not easy. But once you pinpoint the betrayal and you can sit down and analyze when, where, and how the betrayal happened, and if you sit back and stop having pity parties, and realize what part you played in the betrayal, whether you accepted it, whether you honored it, whether you just let it go, and you realize and you take ownership of it, and you start releasing it in here, which is what I do every day. I do mantras to release. I release all fears that I may have of lack of. I release all fears that I may have of betrayal, and I release all fears that I may have of witchcraft. I release so many things on a daily basis, 4 or 5 times, and I repeat it over and over and over and over and over. You know, I release the fear of generational poverty. So I break chains by constantly telling myself, I am in the world, but I am not of it.
Mhm.
And that is a big factor that people need to understand. You know, relationships are never easy, whether they're emotional, physical, or even with family. Anyone who can tell you that they're in an emotional relationship, it's of the heart, it's not an easy task. Anyone who tells you they're in a sexual relationship, although they can tell you that they don't catch feelings, that it's just sexual, that's a lie. You know it's a lie. Because down the line, somebody's going to get hurt. Because at the end of the day, you're having sex, the person who you know is involved with someone else and is having sex with you, they're never going to be 100% honest. There's always going to be a lie. So eventually you will get hurt,
Mhm.
you know? Let me know when you have to go to commercial. Let me know when you have to go to commercial.
I heard you. I heard you, baby. I heard you. I'm
Okay.
ready.
So, you know, I think that if you really look at betrayal in many factors, you know, I'll give you one that's even easier. How many people in the world have been betrayed by religion, by their belief system, by the Catholic Church, by the Christian Church, by the Mormon Church? How many people in the world have been betrayed by these religious
Organizations.
organizations that put so much pressure on you? You know what I'm saying? Um, do you ever watch Jason Lee? You know who he is? Jason Lee has a talk show, gossip show, right? I stream him on Facebook, and Candace Owens was in his show. You know who Candace Owens is, right?
I heard of her.
Okay, well, she can't stand gay people. She can't do a lot of stuff, and you know, and she married this French guy, and she's Catholic now, and oh well, he said, well, if I get married to a man, I'm inviting you to my wedding. She says I won't go because I'm Catholic. That's just full of shit. At the end of the day, there's no corrupt church, more corrupt church than the Catholic Church. Catholic Church is one of the most corrupt churches, one of the most
Gangster.
the biggest church involved with gangsters and pedophiles and rapists. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying that it's just the Catholic Church, but what I'm saying is, you know, the doctrine that these people spew out, they actually believe everything because it's in the Bible. But who wrote the Bible? The Bible was written by man. It wasn't written by God. It was written by man. So at the end of the day, there's always an interpretation of what they didn't like. Jesus only didn't like politics. He didn't like the politics within the religion. He didn't.
Yep.
And that's what he stood for. And all he stood for was love. And that's the biggest problem now, love. Nobody really knows how to love the way they used to love years ago. There are people who got married when they were 13, and back in the day, young men at 13 were men. 14, they were men. And they got married and they were with their wives for 50 years. They didn't love them. They weren't in love when they got married. They learned to love. Because I believe that love, being in love, is a learned behavior. You can learn to love someone. You know what I'm saying? You can train your spirit and your heart to feel so comfortable and feel protected by your partner that you can feel in awe and fall in love with them. You know, you can be with someone who you say and swear up and down that you are in love with them, and they'll cheat on you a million times, and you're still laying up in bed with them, having these thoughts of resentment, but you love them. No, that to me is not love. You know, love is creative. Love is not boastful. It's not arrogant. Love is just kind and learning how to appreciate one another and respect each other's space and care about what your partner is going through and be there when they need you. It's not about self, it's about being selfless, which is the hardest thing that people seem to not understand these days. That all it takes is one act of kindness to show love. One act, just one.
I get you, but let's even bring it even closer to home. What is your definition of love might be different from my definition of love.
That's true.
How you express love might be different how I express love. And what you thought was love is because of you what you thought you seen by example might be true abuse and toxic. So the way you do is what you've been programmed, learned in your environment. But the first person you need to love and fall in love with is self. Self love is the most important thing. If you don't love yourself, how the hell, how the hockey stick somebody gonna love you?
Yeah. But you know what? RuPaul says that all the time. But at the end of the day, what you just said is important. Not just self love, also being in love with yourself. It's not being a narcissist, it's loving all parts of you.
Yes, every part.
All parts of you. If you're big, every single jelly roll you got, love it all. You know what I'm saying? If you got big breasts, love your big breasts. You got small penis, love your small penis. Love all of you. No, I'm being serious. Love all of you. Because you know what? Because people can bring you down, and they can try to bring you down. And I always believe that people who bully other people and try to bring them down by pointing out their flaws, I think that they have no life. They're missing a vital part of themselves, which is the part of humanity that they've lost. And either they're sick physically or emotionally fucked up, or they've been abused somehow. So you can either put your hand like this over the sun and pretend that the sun doesn't exist, or you can remove the bandage and say, I will no longer be a victim. I will love me, I will heal me, and I will never allow anyone to come in unless they're giving me exactly what I'm willing to give. Because those are factors. Another factor is sometimes people get involved and they give 120% of themselves, thinking that the people they're involved with are going to give them the same love back. The same way they love, that the people that they're in love with are going to love them back. It never happens. It never happens. This whole thing where they say, oh, well, you're my soulmate. Well, how do you define soulmate? Because people automatically assume that a soulmate is somebody you're going to sleep with, but it's not necessarily so.
No.
Soulmates can be you, like you, darling. You lost your child, but she's always with you in spirit. But let's say down the line, right? Let's say down the line, your child gets married, he has a child. He has a daughter. And then you raise that child. That child will become like your daughter. She's not taking the place of your daughter. She will become an extension of you. So that's a soulmate. That's a soulmate. There are friends that you can become soulmates with. Do you understand? You and I've known we've known each other in another life, in many lives. Because how many people have tried to break us apart as friends? Ooh, lots. And at the end of the day, here we are. Okay, like M&Ms in a bag. It is what it is.
M&Ms, because M&Ms are poison. They die and they're cancerous. We're not cancerous.
Well, we're not. Well, I'm a Cancer.
No, you're a Cancer sign, not a
Yes, but you know what I mean. I mean, M&M's, we're in the bag, right? So there's always different colors hiding us, but we're always in the bag. We're always in the mix together.
There you
So
go.
at the end of the day, listen, I just look at things, me personally, this is my opinion. I just look at things like we go into relationships knowing, we see, we're not dumb. Hello?
You're here. You're here.
I don't, yeah. We go into relationships. We go into relationships knowing we can see, we feel, we see, but we also choose to ignore.
Makes sense.
So if you're out there, and I give this advice to guys as well as girls, if you're with someone and you're loving them and you know they've cheated on you, don't wait till 5 times they cheat on you so then you can start calling them dogs and dicks and this and start talking about their personal business. Let that go. There's no need. If you were with them for a long time and when you were with them it was good, there's no reason to dog them. A man dogging a woman or a woman dogging a man. There's no, you're not going to heal by that. All you're going to do is make yourself more miserable.
Mhm.
Every time you talk about them, you're only showing the world that you still haven't gotten over them.
This is
So
true.
the best medicine is no medicine. You understand? You take that spoonful of medicine, no matter how bitter it is, you swallow it and you keep moving. And you keep remembering one thing because I want to let you all know the biggest secret of all is what do you really lose? You lose nothing.
Mhm.
You lose nothing. You lost property, you can always buy property. You lost the clothes on your back, you can always buy the clothes on your back. You lost a car, you can always get another car. You cannot lose your life. You can't survive something and then say you lost everything. That doesn't make any sense. As long as you got self, as long as you got your health, you didn't lose anything. And you never lose anything. And as long as you live your life understanding that. See, I learned a long time ago um, when I was a teenager, going through facets of my life where I wasn't happy with me, I realized that I needed help, or should I say, I didn't know that I needed help, you know? And I remember standing in a corner one day, waiting for the school bus with some friends of mine, and there was a big on the bus stop. There was a big sign of Bahamas, and I said, "Oh, one day." Now, mind you, I was what 14. One day, I said, "One day, I am going to go to the Bahamas when I get money." And this black gentleman, old gentleman, said to me, "Don't say one day. Always know that you're going to where you're gonna go anywhere you want to go, and put it in your mind. And from this point on, treat yourself like an American Express card. You're welcomed everywhere. And those people who do not welcome you, they don't need to be around you." And you keep moving. So living life as a credit card, knowing that you're welcomed everywhere, that's all you need. Because at the end of the day, it's always going to be survival of the fittest in this world. And you have to be strong enough to survive for you, not for anyone else, for you. So that's just the way I look at how
I
I live.
like that because my saying is like I'm like a black credit card. Not everybody gets to get a charge, and not everybody can get
But
to.
this gentleman taught me you have to be like an American Express card. You're welcomed everywhere. And if you're not welcome, then they don't need your company and they don't need your money.
I like
And again, because I know that we're going to be going to commercial and then to meditation, right? Again, remember this, keep this in mind. Relationships, friendships, leadership, partnerships, they're all ships that are supposed to lead you somewhere great. If they do not, abandon ship because it's the only way that you're going to survive.
Ashe.
We're going to go to commercial. When we come back, we're going to do a couple of breathing exercises, but no, with no music, because I want to talk. I want to guide them through the letting go, to the I release, so that when they do that, they can start releasing things that are bothering them. Okay.
Okay, okay, sounds good.
All right. We'll go to commercial now. Oh, I like that. Okay, guys, I'm going to take you through this meditation. Um, is there anyone out there that has a question before we start meditation? And remember, your cooperation and your questions are important to us. So feel free to ask. Feel free to put a comment about what you're wanting to, what it is that you want, so that we can discuss it. Was sent last week by someone who was online, and we didn't touch on it, but I did promise that we would touch on it today, so we did. And I hope that it's been helpful to them. I know that it's been helpful to me because it makes me reflect on the things that have occurred in my life, and knowing that I've walked away from people that were not my equals and that were not around me for my own, for benefit, for my personal benefit. And it's not being arrogant, it's just we are here to serve each other. For my benefit is their friendship, for their benefit is my friendship. So I give as good as I receive, and I'm always there, and I'm loyal. And if you are not loyal to me, then I will cut you, never to go backwards. Whether it's my family, whether it's godchildren of mine, whether it's friends of mine, once I cut that rope, it is never to go back again. I don't sympathize. I'm not a sympathizer with hypocrisy. I'm not a sympathizer with phony people. I'm not a sympathizer with people who are not loyal and who are sneaky and who try to undermine my friendships. I don't do that. So I hope that all of you out there understand how valuable you really, really are, and how much you have to look within yourself and ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice? Because I'm not willing to sacrifice anything. I like myself the way that I am, and I shouldn't have to sacrifice anything to have loyalty in my life, or to give loyalty. There should be no sacrifice. It should just be an honor to be able to do that. Now, guys, it's 9:50. We got a few more minutes. I want you guys to think about, first, before we start the breathing, I want you to think about all the things that are causing you problems, or things that you worry about, things that you're concerned about. And if I name them, then, I want you to repeat what I say so that you can open up the door. First, I start with a couple of affirmations that I do before I start the breathing. I want you to take a deep breath first. And as you inhale, I want you to close your eyes. Inhale deeply, and then close your eyes, and then breathe out slowly. And I want you to repeat this. I am open and receptive to all the money and abundance the universe has to offer. I am and have become and always will be a magnet for success, a magnet for love, a magnet for money, a magnet for abundance, and a magnet for well-being all around. My mind is a powerful tool, and the universe creates wonderful things with my mind and with my heart. I am open to the blessings that God, spirits, angels, guides, and the universe provides for me on a daily basis. I am open to receive goodness from all over. I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will always find me. Now, I want you to take a deep breath, as deep as you can. Breathe in through your nose as deep as you can, and I want you to hold it. And I want you to hold it, and I want you to hold it. Keep your eyes closed, hold it for a second. And as you're starting to release in your mind, I release all feelings of failure. I release all negative feelings that I may have towards money. I release all feelings that cause me pain. I release all feelings that cause obstacles in love. I release all feelings that I may have towards negative towards people. Again, you take a deep breath again, you breathe in through your nose, and then you hold it, and you hold it, and you hold it. Now you start releasing, and in your mind, I release all fears that I may have of 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 generational curses. I release all fears that I may have of poverty. I release all fears that I may have of finding a great job. I release all fears that I may have of public speaking. I release all fears that I may have about confronting situations. Again, take a deep breath, as deep as you can, and you hold it, and you release. I release all fears that I may have about doing the right thing for myself. I release all fears that I may have of feeling like I want to control things. I release all fears that I may have of spending money. I release all fears that I may have of wanting to buy property. I release all fears of wanting to start a new relationship. Again, take a deep breath. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Release. I release all fears that I may have of my body shutting down. I release all fears that I may have of the lack of time of healing. I release all fears that I may have of not overcoming betrayal. I release all fears that I may have of not being able to lose weight. I release all fears that I may have of starting something new. All of these fears will be released. And every time you feel like things are overwhelming you or something is happening, constantly repeat in your mind, I release all fears that I may have, especially if they're about money. I release all fear that I may have about money. Because when we fear things about money, money doesn't come to us because we have fear of having it, we have fear of holding it, and we have fear of spending it. We should not live in fear. We should live in love. And that is how we should handle everything. And again, like I said, you guys have been wonderful. And I appreciate all of you tuning in. I appreciate who you are. And your comments are important to us. So please feel free to let us know what it is that you would like for us to talk about. And we will try our best. We will try our best to give you the best of us. I am Ori, and
I'm Dr. D. We're
so
nice to be for you.
remember also, guys, she has other. What are your other?
The other channel is Dreams number 2 Reality Ranch channel. Dreams number 2 Reality Ranch channel. Let me see. I even have the media thing up.
So it's dream to reality, but it's not TO. It's T. The letter, the number two. So dream two.
Yeah. Let me see. I thought I had it up here. But I did. There it is.
Oh, there you go. Dreams to reality ranch. And what is it that you? What is it that that's about?
This particular channel, we talk about a lot of stuff for farming, self-sufficient, holistic things. We're going to have somebody talk about Pilates, yoga. I'm trying to work with an acupuncture to come on and talk about acupuncture. I'm trying to get chiropractors to talk about its alternative health things like herbalists. Like we had an herbalist on. Her name was Carrie, and she talked about canning and fermentation. We had another herbalist on that's studying to be a master herbalist, and she talked about different plants. And we talked about foraging. And we did last week on Sunday, I believe we talked about foraging and being emergency and having a bug out bag. So if y'all want to know more about being prepared, because right now is hurricane season. And back home where I'm from, well, where I was for a long time, Guam, they had a typhoon and it was very bad and electric is out and has been out for a couple of days. And I was there during the typhoon as well. So they're not happening like they used to 20 years, 10 years. They've been happening more frequently. And people need to be prepared for typhoons or anything emergency. So that was something we talked about. Uh,
Weren't you in Thailand as well?
yeah, I was in Thailand, but there was, I mean, there's always tropical storms, there. But I don't remember because to me, it don't phase me. I was in Florida when they were having a typhoon hurricane and the world was blowing up right at the hotel. It didn't affect me. It affected the other people around me and on the side. It didn't affect me. I had water, I had electric, and they were trying to figure out everybody under me was grateful to me. And my daughter
Would,
said to me, Mama, something about you. I
would you
drove
remember?
through a hurricane and didn't know it was a hurricane.
Would you
So
remember when I first moved here? You remember when I first moved here? We had a real bad hurricane. Everybody in the units got affected except mine.
see, don't worry. My thing is that's my biggest thing since being back in the mainland is the energy here is so dense and heavy
Toxic.
with worry and fear. And every time you turn around, now when I was a kid, the news was on early in the morning, in the afternoon, and at 5 p.m. and 11. That's 4 times. Now you got 24-hour news where they're always talking about somebody shooting, somebody killing, and this programs your mind and stresses your body out and brings up cortisones where you're not able to know how to relax.
Oh, I
Like,
know that.
so for me, I'm trying to take you in another direction. I talked about self-care. I gave you certain things to do, like you did a meditation. That's something else I talked about. Going to get a yoni steam. How many people know what a lingam steam is or a lingam smoke is and what it does and what it provides? How many people know how to massage their prostate, their own prostate, the proper way to actually break down the cells that are in their prostates so that they're healthy? How many know about your scrotums that are, if they're falling too early, why they're falling? Do you know what they're supposed to look like? Do you know what even your penis is supposed to look like? A lot of men don't. They compare themselves, and everybody is different. There's circumcised penis, uncircumcised, and half circumcised. It's so many different variables. I know it might be sexual, and is not meant to be. Just like there's so many different vaginas, and what they look like, and everybody has this. Oh, it's supposed to look like this. There is no set thing for any. Even your breasts are not supposed to be set. Some of us are from the itty bitty titty committee, and some of us are, oh God, Jesus, and Dolly Parton and Neil. What is it? I forgot her name. Nell were put together, and they had a child, and you might be that. But the thing is, it's about you and learning you to love you, exactly what it was about tonight. Learning love every cell, because if you hate one cell, that hatred for your whole body, it will spread like wildfire, and it will turn on you.
Amen.
So
I
when you
agree with
start
you
showing
100%.
love, say I love you, get up in the morning and just be grateful, because some of us cannot even get out the bed. And I'm going to tell you, I had a fall this week. I got out of my bed and I fell flat on my ass. Flat on my ass. And it was like, what the hell? And I had a doctor's appointment, and my son's room is across in another side of the house. I was hurt, but I said, you know what? I told him, like, you gonna get up, Heifer. You going, and that's what I said, Heifer, get up. You not staying down here on this ground for nobody. Get your butt up. And I kept talking, and I kept sweating, and I crawled, and I eventually I got up. Was my leg shaking? Yes, because I fell. I'm 50 something, and I have finally gotten for someone to tell me 35 years. They misdiagnosed me for 35 years, and I should be grateful that they finally got it right for 35 years after giving me the wrong medication. That, so for me, I had my day, and I was very depressed. And I mean depressed where I felt suicidal.
We don't
Just
want that.
out
We
of
don't
that.
want that.
So it was that moment, and I thought about it, and I said this to my chiropractor. This is what they want. This is what they want. I will not give you the satisfaction of seeing me not make it, because many people have not wanted me to make it, and I've gone above and beyond. And it was my daughter that came in, and that's why she was hovering. You're going to have a bad day, Mom. And I want you to be prepared, because they're going to give you really, really shitty news that's going to make you want to break and not leave here. And I promised my mate for the other side that I would never say that. And that day, I said the words that I promised him I would never say.
Well, you know what? All we can do is fall and pick ourselves up. That's all we can do.
Yeah, but you gotta have the thought. You can say fall and pick yourself up, but if you don't have it, how do I put it? If you don't, where are you? Uh-oh, you done disappeared. Hold on for a minute. Somebody said something. If you don't know the positivity, oh, they said good show. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tammy. She said it was a good show. If you don't have what it is in you, or know something that's positive, because some people, Spirit was like, see, this is what depression feels like. You're just feeling like an inch of it. Some people feel like this all the time.
But what you said is accurate. You have the news pumping 24 hours a day in every damn channel, that people are so glued to the lies, because a lot of it is lies, that they actually start believing. I know people, older people, they watch TV all day, and they'll say, oh, well, there's a new virus coming out, and you talk to them 2 days later, I think I got the virus.
Yeah.
Kind of shit is that. So I have a very low tolerance for BS, and because I know how society is and how this government is, I pay them no mind. I pay this. I live. But anyway, listen, it is 10:05.
Yes.
We must go, because I have a couple of things that I got to do tonight.
Yes.
There's much love, hugs and kisses always for you. To the audience, to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. We
Yes.
appreciate you. We also want your input. And what, like I said, whatever you want us to talk about, you just let us know.
Yes, yes, yes. Please do, please do. And also look at our short videos. And if you missed anything, because I just need to let you know the TikTok, one of my TikTok videos, I talked about the tongue, got 1,200 and
That's
1,000.
great. That's great.
But the thing is, your video finally picked up. I have it on both channels. And it's about self care because that belongs in
Mhm.
what we need to know and self worth. That got 926 views.
It's good. Well,
So,
hopefully this one will do good too.
yeah, well, I got takes me a time to make the videos, love. Give me a
Well,
break.
no, you know, I'm team you, and I don't care. At the end of the day, just being able to sit down with you and talk for an hour is all I need. That's medicine for my soul.
Okay. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night, everyone.
Out of
Have a
here.
great night.
Night, night.
Enjoy.